You are welcome to Mind Your Minute, for each minute counts. This program is designed to make you better, body, soul, and spirit. My name is Wale Michael. We are on the mentorship series, and I'm still with our wonderful guest here, Dr. Gbenga Akeem Akonde. You are very welcome again, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
Now, today we'll be talking about fattening. And when we were talking behind the camera, he told me that fattening has to do with cattle, sheep, and goats. It's very simple. Cattle, sheep, and goats. Doctor, please, for people who are watching us for the very first time, tell us a little about you and let's go into business.
Well, my name is Dr. Gbenga Akonde. I am a veterinary doctor and I'm a self-employed individual in the livestock subsector of poultry, aquaculture, and all of that.
You are very welcome, Doctor. Now, let's talk a bit about you. When did you graduate as a veterinary surgeon?
Well, I graduated in the year 1990, 34 years ago.
So what did you do immediately you graduated? 1990, is that 34? Yes, 34 years.
34 years
Wow.
ago.
So when you graduated, what did you do?
I actually worked for people. I worked in Sanders, I worked in Livestock Feeds PLC, I worked with Chivita, and all of that. So I was actually an employee for about 29 years.
You were an employee for 29 years?
Yes.
In the industry?
In the industry.
In the animal production and health industry?
Absolutely.
Great. So after the 29 years, what happened?
Well, I decided to become self-employed. I decided to have my own farm, and I went into full-time consultancy services.
Okay, good. So we are talking to a consultant in the animal production and health. So for how long have you been self-employed, Doctor?
Well, 5 years, since 2019.
Okay, great. That's a fair journey. You must have gathered some experience. All right, so now let's go into fattening, and that is production of cattle, sheep, and goat. Please tell us about that. How do we start? That's the important thing. Let's say I'm interested in rearing cattle, goat, and sheep. How do I start?
Well, let me streamline the conversation. Fattening basically involves producing meat and adding, weight to an already existing animal. And in the fattening configuration, we normally fatten the males. Like for cattle, we fatten the bulls. That's the male cattle. Then for sheep, we fatten the ram. The female and even goats, the same thing, but goat fattening is not very, very established yet.
It's not common.
It's not common. So for the female animal, we normally acquire them for breeding purposes to produce more animals for us. So you remove the males for fattening. So basically, if you want to start fattening, the most important determinant is you have to have a knowledge of what you want to go into. There has to be a business plan. Then your finance will determine the scale to which you want to do it.
Okay, now, normally we see cattle rearers, we see people who rear rams going about. So how does that agree with the process of fattening?
Well, this is where we are trying to do something better.
Okay.
And the objective is to make profit and to do what they call value addition. Now, those nomads that roam around with the cattle and the sheep and all of that, in most cases, the animals don't have the right kind of nutrition that will make them bring out the best in terms of quality.
So what is the alternative?
Alternative is basically fattening, zero grazing, or ranching.
Zero grazing. What is zero grazing?
Zero grazing is when you bring your animals to a confined space, you give them feed and water in that space, you don't allow them roam around.
Okay.
So that's zero grazing.
Okay, so what is ranching? How is it different?
Well, ranching is synonymous with zero grazing. Ranching is actually the bigger picture, but zero grazing is the method.
Oh, okay. So what it means that you don't allow the animals to roam
don't.
They don't graze around.
No, they don't.
You confine them
in
a space
and
bring food to them.
Well, feed to them.
Feed. Now, so the first thing we do is to make sure that we have the space.
Absolutely.
Where we are going to keep them.
Exactly.
So for the starter who wants to have a space to keep the animals, how much space is required or how many number of animals? let's focus on ram.
Okay, basically, the number of animals depends on your financial capability,
Okay.
and the space requirements also depends on the space you have available.
Okay.
So, for the purpose of this conversation, I think I am a self-employed veterinary doctor, and I have a very strong passion for startups,
Good.
people that are just starting.
Good.
You know, so you can do it in your backyard because acquisition of land and all of that is quite expensive. How many people have access to funds? So within the confines of your home, in the backyard, if you have a space of maybe 25 square meters,
25 square meters.
you
Okay.
can actually do about maybe 15 rams. Yeah.
15 rams.
Yes.
Okay.
Grazing.
So let assume I start with 25 square meters and I have 15 rams. How do I proceed? How do I get the feed? How do I source for the feed? And what is the cost of the feed? What is the formula for the fattening feed?
Very good question. You see, before you talk about getting the feeds and all of that, you have to get the housing right. The housing is such that the floor should be cemented for easy cleaning. These animals hardly leave the spot. So they defecate there, you feed them there and all of that. And you get your feeding troughs, like drums that are cut into half and all of that. Those are the feeders that are used for them.
So those ones are elevated above the floor,
Yes,
so they
have
cannot
legs.
defecate in it.
Yes, they have
Okay.
legs. And the water point also has that kind of
Elevation.
exactly.
Yes. Okay.
So basically, the feed you talked about is very important because in any animal production business, 70 to 80% cost of production is always the feeds. Now, in fattening, because these animals are ruminants, they have 4-chamber stomach where they actually digest grass and all of that. You have to feed them with 2 types of feeds.
Okay.
We have crop residues. And crop residues basically talk about when you harvest your maize, the cobs, the husk, and all of that. And then when you harvest your granules, and then you harvest your beans, all those leaves and all of that, we call them harawa in Hausa language,
Okay.
and all of that. So those crop residues will form a percentage of what you feed them per day.
Crop residues.
Yes.
So that means you have to go to the farm.
Yes. There are a lot of farmers after harvest, they normally collect these crop residues and they put them inside sacks and they sell them. They are not too expensive normally.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
They're supposed to be waste, but animals actually use them as their fiber source.
Okay.
Then there are some feed mills that produce the normal finished feeds. Those ones that have their crude protein, they have crude fiber, they have their energy levels. Those are the ones that actually help to give you the desired weight.
Are those not genetically modified feed?
No, they are not. They are not GMOs. They are basically, these are the kind of feeds that the feed mills produce even for poultry.
Okay.
Yes, so they are natural, from natural feed sources, ingredients like maize, groundnut cake, soya cake, methionine in some cases, lysine and all of that. But there are established feed mills that produce these small ruminant.
You know the reason I'm interested in the formula for the feed is because of health reasons. You know, most of these feed that come and then you see health consequences when you...
No, basically these feed mills are registered, established, and they have already been certified by NAFDAC and
Okay.
Standard Institution of Nigeria, SON. You
Okay.
understand?
Okay.
So they produce feeds that don't have the tendency for such issues.
All right.
In fact, your point is very, very valid in the sense that the only time we have issues about feed contamination is the way you store it in your farm.
So storage of the feed is also very crucial.
Extremely crucial. You have to put them in pallets. Where you need to store them, there must be aeration so that the feed can actually not have.
Now, doctor, this technical knowledge that you have acquired in 40 years,
Yes.
there's no way you can get it in 15 minutes.
Yes.
But let's talk about the business angle to it. So if I'm doing 15 rams,
Yes.
let's say I get a ram for 10,000, hypothetically 10,000. So 15 will be like 150,000.
Let's do 100,000, 15, 1.5 million. It's closer to reality.
100,000 for one ram.
Yes.
A small ram.
No. They are adult rams that have not been properly fed.
Oh, they are already adults.
Yes, they are not getting.
But who
lambs.
is rearing ram that will not feed it?
You see,
And we want to sell it.
good question. I think you are thinking like somebody in diaspora. In the sense that, let me tell you how it works.
Okay.
Practically in Nigeria, most of the small ruminant and large ruminant stock in Nigeria is in the hands of the local nomadic people. True or false? It's in their hands.
Okay.
Go to Mubi, go to Sokoto, all those places, you see people with herds of cattle.
Wow.
Plenty.
Wow.
It's in their hands. So because of the nomadic nature, and I told you earlier when we were having a conversation that because of the fact that they roam about, they don't get the right nutrition. So you buy from them, you deworm them, and you fatten. They're not well fed from.
I can see. So they have not acquired enough weight
No.
to give them the adequate profit.
Exactly.
Okay, now.
And remember, they move around again. So they lose weight when they're moving around from one region to the other.
Okay, let's assume I commit $1 million. What is my return on investment? And what is the gestation period?
Honestly, for ram fattening, the period of rearing is just 40 days.
40 days.
Yes, and those 40 days, there's a specific quantity of feed measured. You have to have your
Measurement,
scale,
yes.
that you give them for 40 days. And after 40 days, for rams, you are expected to get a weight gain of 15 to 20 kilograms.
20 kilograms.
20 kilograms, yes.
After 40 days.
After 40 days.
That means they gain half a kg per day.
Yes, something like that.
Okay.
That, yes.
Okay. So 15 kg is not much. 20 kg is not much.
For a ram,
Yes.
20 kg is quite high.
Oh, really?
Yes, very,
Okay.
very high.
Okay.
I mean, for a small ruminant like ram,
Okay.
yes, that's quite much.
Okay, so how much money will I make from my investment of 20 kg? You know, because if I slaughter my ram and I have meat packs and it's 20 kg, how much is 1 kg of ram mutton?
Yeah.
A bit mutton. How much is a kg of mutton?
You know, the point here is what you are saying is another different dimension.
That is the most interesting thing to
Yes.
us because we are looking at, okay, this Mind Your Money is talking about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And people want to look at, okay, if I commit this, because money has so many uses.
You're right.
I can do agriculture, poultry. I can do, you have just talked to us about fishery,
Yes.
aquaculture. I can also take my money to the stock market.
Of course.
It's the same money.
Yes.
I can invest in furniture making.
Yeah.
I can put my money in anything. So I am interested in the return on my investment. One, why that may not be the most important factor, it is a very crucial factor.
Yeah, very, very correct.
Because I know that whether you're going to make money from any business or not, you must consider your lifestyle, because there must be a work-life balance with what you do. You must love what you do. And that's where you can make the real money in it. But then you may love 2, 3, 4, 5 things. So money becomes the second consideration.
Oh, yeah.
To know which one to settle for.
Yes, I'm on the same page with you. But I was going to tell you something. You see, the area you're talking about is when you do your value chain of rearing or fattening animals, like ram, like we're talking about now. By the time the ram is ready, after 40 days, you have various options. You can either sell the ram live,
okay,
or you can process it.
Okay.
You know, so these are some of the options. So that takes us back to the initial thing we're talking about. You work from the market to the production.
To production.
So, for instance, now you might say Eid al-Kabir, the Muslim festival where they slaughter ram symbolically.
We call it Ileya.
Ileya, exactly.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that you can say, okay, I want to fatten. Okay, he said 1 million. I want to fatten maybe 7 for Ileya. So by the time you finish rearing it, you have to sell it live. But if it's not any festival that is symbolic, you can say, okay, by the time I finish fattening, you have a relationship with some of these established butchers that have frozen facilities. You know, you do it properly, the liver is there, the legs are there, the skin is there.
Even the superstores.
Yeah, exactly.
The superstores.
Thank
Yes.
you. Like Shoprite and all
You
of that.
brand it, you
Exactly.
label and brand, you package, and then you give it to them.
So these are options. So this particular one we're just talking about, it's called agro processing. Value addition is another business on its own within the value chain
of agriculture business.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Viewers, we cannot exhaust this. These are just teasers. These are just eye-openers to people who will be asking us, okay, you are telling me to work, to start business. What can I do? We are bringing options, and we will continue to bring options to you. Thank you very much, Dr. Akonde.
My pleasure,
We are going to be back very soon again, and then we'll be talking about poultry,
Yes,
right?
poultry.
That is production of birds and production of eggs.
Yes.
Thank you very much, doctor. My name is Wale Michael. Let us do this again. I love you.